Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John, that's my cohort and commentary Ashton, and this is TWitWoW in review. Interesting week in the world of wrestling. Earlier this morning, 3 a.m., we did full live reactions to the conclusion of the Stardom Cinderella tournament, which included a very eventful 2 out of 3 falls main event between DDM and Cosmic Angels, particularly the post match. A lot of seismic shifts in the Stardom landscape. All-Star Grand Queendom could be one of the biggest wrestling shows, and I do mean wrestling, not just Stardom, of the year. So much is happening on that show. We are a little over 8 days away, and yeah, it's gonna be just amazing. So as far as this week goes, not too bad. I wouldn't say it was too bad for my money. AEW was interesting. I do have something I do want to talk about at length as regards to AEW, but I'm not going to try and force it. We'll get to it when we get to it. We know that the draft is looming for WWE, and that even before that, the Undisputed Tag Team Championship, there's going to be the rematch between the Usos and Sami and Kevin in 2 weeks from Friday, so it'll be April 28th, SmackDown. So yeah, a lot of stuff popping off. How'd you feel about this week in the world of wrestling, brother?
It was, I'm not going to go out of my way to say that it was horrible. I don't think it was horrible. It was just kind of like average, really. I think like there was some stuff that got me a little bit more into it this week than I would other weeks. On a bad week, it's like everything that got my attention was because I hated it, and everything else I was just bored by. But there was good stuff that happened this week. There was stuff that I enjoyed this week, and it's not even necessarily just Stardom that did that for me, even though Stardom did do that a lot for me this week. But let's get into some stuff. What did you want to talk about first, or did you want me to talk about my stuff first?
Well, I mean, I just thought we'd talk about Stardom because that's the freshest, and I mean, it's not like big things didn't happen. Big things very clearly did happen.
Yeah.
Uh,
Dude, things are changing in Stardom big time.
oh yeah, you can feel it. You can really feel like this is an epochal moment, a shifting of eras, if you will, in Stardom. I mean, for one thing, let's rip the Band-Aid off. Cinderella tournament concluded. Sakurai did in fact make it all the way to the finals, but she did lose to Mirai, who achieved the two-peat, puts her in the same breath as Mayu, which I kind of ruminated about further in the Discord. I mean, that was something you initially broached. And then I kind of speculated in the Discord, maybe that would mean that Mirai would pick IWGP if Mayu beats Mercedes, because they kind of have that link now, the two of them. But of course, Mirai wanting to be an ace, she's gone out of her way to say that before, might feel like Mayu, if I'm ever to be an ace, I have to surpass you. I personally find a Mayu-Mirai matchup far more interesting than Mirai Kamitani going at it again. Have you felt any better about the Cinderella tournament since you've had time to further process it and et cetera, or do you still feel about the same? How are you feeling about it?
It's not something that I'm going to feel better about overnight. It's going to be something that I feel better about if/when Mirai doesn't win whatever title. Actually, I shouldn't even say that. It's going to be something that I feel better about when we find out, or potentially feel better about when we find out which title Mirai is going to go after.
Yeah, because then there will be more coherence in the picture. Um, yeah, I think I've kind of made my peace with it, especially because I really did have my heart set on Waka winning and Waka and Kamitani having a big matchup. But honestly, Waka's character has already become interesting enough with the decision she made last night. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So yeah, Cinderella in the books. I will say that this tournament was so baffling and left me so flabbergasted that when next year Cinderella comes around, I'm not exactly going to forget the impression that this one made, and I'm going to be more tentative than I was going into this one this year.
Yeah.
So I do think that's a consequence if I'm just speaking honestly and from the hip, which I know we always try and do.
Yeah, like expectations wise, Cinderella tournament, I'm down to like 6 out of 10 for next year.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then like exactly 5 stars where I'm at like 11 out of 10 every year.
Yes.
The 5 stars never let us down, John.
No, it has not. And I will say it's in a way become even more interesting given what we might be expecting here. All-Star Grand Queen. I'm telling y'all, All-Star Grand Queendom. If you wanted to know what Stardom's going to look like for pretty much all of 2023, I don't think it's hyperbole to say this is the show. Because depending on the results that happen out of this show, I'm like, okay, I'm really starting to see your vision, your mission statement for 2023. And I'm either going to be like, oh, yeah, or oh, no. So we will have to see. Meanwhile, freaking Oedo Tai once again sticking it to Queen's Quest. There might be a bigger story at play here. We don't know. We know Miyu was kind of targeted initially, and then she ate the pin in this tag match last night, the huge 12-woman tag. So curious there. We know Momo hates hates Queen's Quest. She used to be the leader of it, not anymore because she decided to be a backstabbing and sensitive feelings hurt her. Totally okay. Totally fine. Beyond that, because, yeah, Cinderella was all one thing. We already ripped that Band-Aid off. I mean, hell, Club Venus had a great trios match. Kogo seems like she's going to be in a program with Club Venus. And look, I will say, I got on my bullshit plenty this morning, so I'd like to be a bit more serious talking about Club Venus here. I will say, though, in that serious vein, still love them, still love the look, love how credible they're looking immediately, and I love that we've got a better sense of their direction. We might be looking at a catty kind of heel faction. I mean, Mariah May was really giving it to Kogo
She
on
was
the mic.
so mean.
It was amazing. I loved it.
She fucking shamed Momo Kogo for not having big enough boobs. Like, I'm sorry, but body shaming? No, I'm not gonna leave that. I'm not gonna just let that pass just because it's Club Venus.
You know what? Look, that's fair. I'm tempted to look the other way, obviously. I will say it is interesting that Kogo has been kind of targeted because I feel like for me, her story in Stars is still kind of unresolved at the moment, or at least I thought it was. It seems like they're cool with Kogo now, but I thought she still kind of had to prove herself in a big way or something. But now she's getting in this feud here. I did love what Mariah May also tweeted after the fact, because somebody even pointed out, like, wow, you guys were really mean to Kogo. And then Mariah May quote tweeted, and she was like, you should see what we say in the group chat about her. And I'm like,
oh my god!
This group gets it. It's amazing. I love them.
Wow!
Sorry, Kogo. You
what the fuck? God damn it!
Yeah, this is amazing. I'm very, very happy with this. Hey, look, I'm also happy that Momo Kogo's in an actual program. I mean, she is very talented. We've talked about that for a while. I'm surprised it's Club Venus, though, especially because Club Venus doesn't have any, like, high-speed people yet or anything. So, yeah, I guess Mariah's just picking on Kogo. Also, I mean, hell, look, we couldn't have expected women that look that beautiful to be baby faces.
Bro, Javaris in chat said, notice how they didn't go after Hazuki, because Hazuki would have been dropping bitches, lol, and I'm just like, yo, if they would have said some shit about it. I mean, first of all, I mean, the body shaming that they did to Kogo, they couldn't have done to Hazuki, because Hazuki is gifted, as we could say, up there. But if they would have talked shit about Hazuki, Hazuki would have been on their asses instantly. She would have fucking destroyed them.
Okay, let's not get
Okay, let me rephrase that. She would have attempted to destroy them and then got 4-on-1 jumped.
There you go. See, that's math. But yeah, I mean, Alex, I like the tone that Alex is speaking with, because it seems like he actually has known about Mariah May for a while. He says Mariah May has been this way for years, to be frank. Wow.
Wait, Alex, how do you know about Mariah May? Where have you seen her before she went to Stardom?
Yeah, anytime we get to learn about your wrestling fandom lore, Foster, I am very attentive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, Mariah May, look, the great thing about her being that kind of heel, though, and again, I'm speaking totally seriously. I got on my bullshit enough Saturday morning, although I'm still kind of giggly thinking about how they cornered Kogo like that.
Bro, Saturday morning was like 14, 15 hours ago? Like,
yeah,
it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I've simmered down. But Mariah has the talent to back it up.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, it's not like we're listening to some blonde wrestler that can't work or bump or whatever try and compensate with this very, catty personality. She's good. And that's why I love it, because it's like, wow, she's saying all this shit to Kogo, and I mean, really, what is Kogo actually going to do about it? Probably nothing. So, yeah, I think things are great in Club Venus. I wish Abel was here to back me up, because I'm sure he would have some salient points. But, Foster said, yeah, I've known about Mariah for about a year-ish. I've seen a good amount of some of her stuff on the indies. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. So, yeah, very excited for Club Vanas. There, I had to do the voice at least once. So,
Oh man, it is a shame Abel's not here. He could have heard it. I think he's probably
I know.
sleeping though. Yes, honestly.
You know what, brother? I can't really think
Actually, I
about
don't think he
any
is.
other.
Bro, if you're awake, we're live, and John just did the thing.
But yeah, bro, thinking about this show, I mean, Shuri Konami did UWF rules, but it didn't move any stories forward. It's just LOL Shuri wins, which, God, like, I want that Shuri big hash match. Isn't that supposed to happen at All Star?
That is happening at All Star Grand Queendom, yeah.
I really hope Shuri loses that because I'm saying for her character, it'd be good for her to take an L every once in a while.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like once again, Konami loses, which I get because she's doing the intermittent work. But man, if Konami ever wanted to make a committed return, I would be right back on my Konami for white belt bullshit, man. She looks great.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really love watching Konami work. But beyond that, I was gonna say that I really think we could just get to the big news that really Stardom should have left off on beyond the ceremony, which we already know the ceremony. Again, Mirai won, and she isn't gonna make her wish until after All Star Grand Queendom.
Yep. Your son's here.
So, brother. Yes. Welcome, Abel. Love you so much. But yeah, actually, because I've been talking so much at length, I know you pop big for the post-match, particularly one particular revelation that we put together. So how are you feeling about Saori Ano being deeper into Stardom than we thought?
Yeah. Dude, so here's the thing. I looked it up, and apparently she still has indie dates that she's supposed to be working through, like, July. So I don't necessarily think that she's here full-time just yet. We're firmly in, like, I'll believe it when I see it territory with that. But the fact that she is joining a faction means we're going to see a lot more of her going forward, and that's enough for me. I never thought we'd see her in Stardom ever at a certain point, and the fact that it took less than a month after I literally said live on one of our shows, I've given up on hoping Saori Ano ever comes to Stardom. If it ever happens, it's just going to be a surprise to me. And then she shows up, like I said, within a month of me saying that. And now, not only has she shown up, but she's made a second appearance. She's going to make a third in order to actually wrestle a match. And she's joined a proper faction. Like, holy fuck. I'm hoping she wins artist titles in her first try. I really think Restart should win that match. Like, I love Prominence, and I want to see more of them, and I would love it if they would sign Stardom contracts. But I really want Restart to win the Trios titles.
I mean, here's my thing, right? Just to kind of engage with everything you just said. Ano, I think, can do so much for that company, both in a tag team and in singles. She has a great look, dude. Like, that woman walking out with either the white or even the red belt, like, she looks the part. And God knows she wrestles the part, because we've seen enough of her matches. When it comes to Prominence, again, being totally serious, I do love Prominence. And again, even Hiragi, I think, really works in a tag team setting. Risa Serra is cool. But let's just be real here, at least on this podcast. I do think Suzu is the greatest value of that team. I mean, to be in her 20s and to be that good, if Stardom was to get anybody to a full-time deal, that's the woman you want. Like, God damn, if Suzu ever seriously committed to Stardom, it's over for everyone else. Mm-hmm. And I know Javaris has got to be loving everything I'm saying, because I know what a huge fucking Suzu fan he is. I know how big a Suzu fan you are. And for me, it's just like, I am a fan. I'm just deeply in awe of her in-ring acumen and just her general wrestling aptitude at such a young age. But yeah, I mean, I like all three of them, but Suzu's the get to me. So I'll ask you, though, about Ano. What do you think her ceiling? Like, do you feel like as high as she could go would be the Wonder title? Could you believe her if she ever went after the red belt? Like, how do you feel about Ano and Stardom's scheme if she makes that full-time commitment after her indie dates?
Here's my thing. I think Ano is a red belt talent who just showed up a few years too late. I think her limit is probably the white belt.
That's fair. Hey, that white belt is having a great era at the moment, and we know that at least it's going to potentially continue for the foreseeable future, because we know Sakurai didn't win Cinderella.
Because here's my thing. She's 32.
Yeah.
And while I do think that she's a red belt talent, I also think that by the time we would get to a point where the stories that I feel like need to play out for the red belt have played out, she'll probably be like 34, 35-ish. And by that point, I don't know if putting the red belt on her would be something that Rossi would even be willing to do.
Yeah.
I don't even know if she'd be willing to stick around for that long without a red belt reign.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, like, in some order, we need a Tam and a Kamitani red belt reign within the next year or two.
Yes.
Now, they could speed run that and have Tam beat Julia at All Star Grand Queendom and then have Kamitani win the 5-star and beat Tam at Dream Queendom. They could easily do that. And then if they wanted to have Ano be next in line behind that, I have no quarrels at all.
Yeah.
No qualms, I should say, at all.
Yeah. All right.
But then we're starting to kind of close in on that point though, where we're starting to get to the point of like, okay, when are we gonna get red belt Momo? When are we gonna get red belt Starlight Kid? I mean, shit, Kid hasn't even won the white belt yet. When is Mayu gonna get her like career-ending reign with the white belt, where it's like the Mickey James thing that's going on right now, where once she loses, she's retiring kind of thing? Is that gonna happen at all? Like, I feel like there's still a lot of things going on that could lead to red belt reigns that we aren't expecting, or at the very least that we aren't like ready for at the time. And
Right.
I'm just at this point, I'm just curious how things are going to play out. I'm rooting for Ano to stick around and to stay great the way she's been. But yeah, I really don't know, man. I really, really don't know.
But let's back up and refocus the picture, because why we're talking about Sauriano so much, DDM wins the 2 out of 3 falls matchup. Julia gets the first pin, Tam gets the second pin, and then Micah on Natsupoi gets the winning pin. Kirby actually had some interesting facts about Micah. It seems like they are pushing her, just maybe not as quickly as we thought they would, because obviously you and I really thought she would win the Cinderella. Kirby had said that Micah hasn't been pinned or submitted since Historic X crossover back in November of last year. That's pretty impressive for her. And I'm definitely keeping an eye on Micah. I will say too, she killed that finish, and really Natsupoi too, because it's also on the person taking the move. That lariat looked sick, preceding the Micah driver. That was goddamn, made me jump out of my seat. So DDM get the win. Pam is heartbroken about because Julia's talking her shit, man. That's what I love about Julia, dude. Even when she's in the eye of the storm, she's still a total bitch. And like, I mean that with all the love in the world. Truly, truly. She's amazing. Like, that's why, you know what? No, because we're going to have a lot to say during All-Star Grand Queen and preview predictions. I want to be careful not to give too much of the game away. I was going to go on a little thing, but no. Let's move on. So she talks her shit. Tamantha, I was going to Tamantha and be overly dramatic and soap opera about it and just cry and be like, I will win. And yeah, sure, Tamantha. Then they're leaving, and then Mina takes the microphone. And finally, the moment we've all been waiting for, she officially removes herself from Cosmic Angels.
Yeah.
It's a divorce. It's an amicable divorce, which I'll admit surprised me. And it only surprised me because, and we've talked about this many times before, just again, when that Cosmic Angels anniversary, Mina looked so annoyed. She looked like she could have forearmed Tam right then and there. So to go from that Mina to thank you for everything, Tam, but I need to do this. It's my time now. I'm spreading my wings. And Tam, to her credit as a character, I have a lot of fun with Tam, mainly because she's so freaking good. So that's honestly a compliment to her. She doesn't pull the Mayu. She doesn't choose bitterness. She actually lets her go and wishes her well and says, let's take all the belts home. I will admit, as a character, that does so much for Tam. Because, like, I'm sure there are people that may have thought some of her recent antics were a bit unlikable. Even me, I didn't like how she shoved Natsupoi away when she just wanted to get to Julia, because it seemed like, wow, do you even give a shit about Natsupoi? But it shows that Tam does love. Perhaps she really is just guarded because of all the stuff with Arisa, and we've talked about that many times before. So that was great. What was surprising and shocked the shit out of me, beyond Ano, which we already just talked about, there is a custody hearing. The custody of Waka Tsukiyama.
Yeah.
We had the divorce. Waka's looking at them both like, oh no, how could I be put in this position? And look, I will admit, God, what is this now, for the quintillionth time? I was wrong. I really am getting tired of saying that. I had said on here, there's no way. Waka is so loyal to Tam. Tam teamed with her on her first win. She even cried and asked Tam, "Can I stay in Cosmic Angels?" You would think when you can cheerfully ask that kind of question that you've kind of found your home and you're like, through everything, this is where my heart is. Stardom's like, well, John, fuck you. We're having Waka go with Club Venus. So Waka is now with Club Venus. I like this for her. And you know what? Her losing to Sakurai, retroactively, it makes that booking decision better because as a character, I could see Waka saying, I've lost here, I've hit a wall. And if I've hit a wall here, then maybe I've learned everything I need to learn from Cosmic Angels.
Yeah.
Maybe I need a shakeup. However, here's the irony. Sakurai made a shakeup, and we felt like it didn't do shit for her, even as a character. I'm hoping that's not the same case here with Waka. I'm not saying have her go undefeated or some wild crap like that. I'm just saying, like, I hope we see just some kind of difference in Waka now being with Club Venus, because that would also reflect on how different Mina is as a leader from Tam. So how do you feel about Waka making the shift? Did it surprise you? Do you think it's a good move for her? Do you think it like keeps her kind of over and kind of interesting in the Stardom landscape?
It definitely surprised me in the way that like it just seemed like she would be super loyal to Tam because of the fact that Tam was her partner when she got her first win.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing about, oh, Tam really like going to bat for her, like I'm not gonna let you lose, I'm not gonna let you retire or whatever, that kind of thing.
Right, right.
So like with all of that stuff, I really did not expect her to jump ship. But like we were even I was or at least I was even saying when the conversation was happening, like it was Tam that gave her the ultimatum, you win or you leave. It was Mina that said, I'm going to help you win. I'm going to give you special training. I'm going to hook you up. We're going to work together to get you into that dub column.
Yeah.
So I get it for sure. It's like, I might not have expected it going in, but in hindsight, it makes perfect sense.
Can I just call an audible real quick and just talk about something that I just saw?
Yeah.
I hate to take us off track.
Sure.
John Morrison just won a boxing match.
Oh, Creator Clash. He beat
Yeah.
Harley Morenstein, right?
Yeah, third round knockout. Holy, what a fucking Chad. I'm sorry, everyone. I was just admiring a paragon of fucking manliness. But no, I completely agree with you. I did love the post-match segment on all this. And again, honestly, any really big, deep discussions we're gonna have really are gonna take place on the preview predictions for All-Star Grand Queendom. This is all just to say that while the Cinderella tournament was kind of mid, I think everything around it was I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was good stuff. So now we can, I guess, move on. What would you like to talk about? Because I know you even offered up the option. Like, do you have something, John, or would you like me to do it? So, did you have something on your mind that you wanted to kind of open with?
Well, I mean, I was just very curious as to what your AEW rant was going to be because I've been anticipating it all week.
Okay, so here's the good news probably for us. I've had time to really think about this, and I realized that I'm a 31-year-old man, and honestly, I'm feeling good about myself today. So let me run that back. I'm a 31-year-old man. I'm feeling good today.
Nice.
So I don't want to be yelly or screamy or even accusatory because I don't know people's private lives. But we need to talk about Darby Allin. Okay, we need to talk.
Oh.
Because, and again, I want to talk about it calmly, because I think what we're talking about is serious. He did have a great promo. See, that's the problem right there. I liked his promo.
Oh, see, now, even then, you're taking it further than I would. I wouldn't call it great. I would just call it solid. It was good.
Yeah, solid, good. I enjoyed it. I'll put it that way. I think that's a safe way to put it. I enjoyed it. But see, again, it's the problem because Darby had a promo on MJF. Because again, every pillar's making this contrast with MJF. You know, you never do anything on your own. It's just all the usual. Foster, I love you. I just saw that comment. That's fucking great. All the usual stuff against MJF and all the pillars talking about like how great they are, things they've done. And Darby cuts this babyface promo where he says, you know, are you even happy, Max? You know, I met you all these years ago, and you said if you got on national TV, that, you know, all your problems would go away, and I felt the same way, and it didn't work out for me, and it didn't seem like it's working out for you either. That's why my first year in AEW, I went to therapy, and he actually extols the virtues of therapy. He's like, therapy's great, you should try it. And I think he was speaking both to Max and like and anybody struggling. And he's like, you know, and I realized that being about me, you know, that wasn't getting me anywhere. So I started giving to other people. You know, I bought my parents a house, and I'm like, what made me so pissed off, and again, I was, if we were doing it the day that I watched that clip and then I did what I did after the clip, which I'll get into, I probably would have been ranty. I probably would have even risked doing a fail bomb, which I haven't done in so long, because I really got angry all over again at this dude. We already know that Darby was implicated in speaking out pretty fucking badly.
Yeah.
We also know that he kind of told on himself with the Cora Jade stuff. I learned things about Darby that I wish I didn't. Because to me, what should have just been a solid promo, to use your word, and just to, again, reiterate that I did enjoy it, I'm like, you're a fucking liar. Because I learned that this dude dehumanized homeless people and had them do shit for his own sick amusement, like for profit. He apparently went on Jericho's podcast and he bragged about how he got, like, a homeless guy to drink like a cup of puke or whatever for like money. And he's done other stuff. Like there was another guy that was going through like a custody hearing for a child of his, and Darby was like, "Oh yeah, I'll help you out," but he had him jump through hoops first. And I'm like, okay. Then there was another interview where he lies about his age because at one interview he says he's 23, then another he says he's 27. And then he also had this wild story where he said he was once stung by bees while having sex, like dangerous sex stories. And I say all of this to you people, not to get WTFs or whatever. I say this to you guys to make the point that I genuinely believe that Darby Allin might be a pathological liar. And a guy like that potentially is like a top babyface really discomforts me.
All right.
Yeah, and like, look, you're, again, being totally serious, you even call out Club Venus a little bit because you're like, look, I can't vibe with body shaming, whatever, even if it is just prototypical heel shit. I totally get that. And you're right. I think we need to get low-hanging fruit out of heel promos. In that vein, in that similar vein of holding people accountable, I don't want a guy posturing as a babyface and as a role model for kids or anyone for that matter, who at the very basic, not even getting into the specifics, can't seem to stop himself from lying. Because it even brought the promo into question, like, did you really go to therapy? Did you really buy your parents a house? Or did you only say those things because you knew it would get the pop?
Right.
To put it very straightforwardly to all of you people, and again, not being yelly, you notice I haven't raised my voice once. Darby Allin makes me physically sick. And if he wins the AEW World Championship at any point, I honestly, I already don't watch AEW. I don't care to watch AEW. I don't think you'd ever get me back. Like, I'd be ashamed to fucking watch that. And look, at the same time, I'll hold myself accountable. I haven't been great about picking wrestlers to follow either in my past. I mean, freaking obviously anybody that knows me, right? But, and maybe Darby has changed. Maybe he's doing stuff private because much like Jay Briscoe, I don't think Jay had to do the stuff in public to get redeemed, right? Because people, when he passed, spoke up for him, and that was enough for me. I don't know, but see, that's kind of my burning question is, Darby, would people speak up for you if we needed them to? Would they say, oh, that Darby Allin, he was great? Even Cody, you know, I read a story about Cody recently, like on Twitter from one wrestler. He was like, oh, Cody deserves this main event because, you know, he helped me out. I was homeless. And Cody said, hey, anybody that buys this guy's shirt gets a free Nightmare shirt. So even though Cody is a prick, and I stand by all the criticisms we both have had of him, he at least helped one guy that was freaking homeless. That's honestly more than I could say for Darby Allin at present. What good have you really done, Darby? I'd love to honestly know, and maybe that is true. But the idea that I read as much as I did about him really made me uncomfortable all over again. And I hadn't even forgotten speaking out or the Cora thing that he started that he never apologized for.
Yeah.
So that's the problem. It was a solid promo. He could be a believable babyface to these people, but I guess for me, I think being a babyface even more than being a heel, especially in this day, especially when I saw that thread that I told you guys about in the Discord a while back, where I'm reading these stories about, oh, Bianca totally changed my life, or watching Dakota saved my life. Like, wrestling fans form deep attachments to these wrestlers. And that's power. We don't really think about it in that way, right? The influence that such an attachment can have. And Darby can have that influence on people. And that can either be really good or really bad, right? And so I'm just trying to have a more general conversation about just really about culture in general, because it's no different from a movie star or a TV star or a TikTok influencer or whatever. When you get popular enough and people gravitate to you and they're buying what you're selling, whether literally or metaphorically, that is power. Do we want to give Darby the kind of power of doing the interviews, doing the now? I don't think he's taking the title off MJF. Let me be perfectly clear. But do I think he could be a world champion in the future? Speaking in general terms, yeah, absolutely. And I just don't know if we want to give a guy like that again has apparently bragged on Jericho's podcast how he used to, humiliate the homeless and get it on tape. He apparently even showed Jericho a video, which doubled down also on fuck Chris Jericho. That kind of influence. And yeah, it's a shame because I like the promo and he almost took me in, but then I had to remind myself who Darby Allin is, and I'm like, wow, all the four pillars just absolutely suck. Just really absolutely suck.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest. I'm glad that I didn't do the typical John Yelly stuff because, like, again, like it's too serious to do that. It'd be so easy to say fuck Darby Allin. I'd rather go deeper into why fuck Darby Allin, and that's why I don't like how he treats the most marginalized of society. Because, I mean, Cora, a woman in a wrestling industry that, obviously women, I mean, Rhea Ripley apparently told off a disgusting fan recently.
Yeah.
It's still a fucking problem. The homeless, I mean, come on, man. Like, we're seeing so much about the homeless today because it's a huge crisis. I'm sorry, but it's still fuck Darby Allin in this house. And that's a shame because it seems like he's sucking a bit less. And then that even made me a bit sus on Sting. Because I'm even looking at it. This is another part. Like, if you really caught me when I was really feeling ranty, which again, in hindsight, I'm glad we didn't. But like, Sting comes out and he vouches for him, and it's like, oh, because Sting cuts this great promo about his own career, and he thanks Kevin, and he thanks Scott, and he thanks Rick, But then he says, Showtime's almost over. And that means something because Sting really has been around forever. So the idea that he can openly say it, and I think really mean it, because he hasn't been wrestling in like this high intensity capacity or whatever, and say, but Showtime is just beginning for Darby Allin. It really makes me say, like, Sting, really? Like, this guy is going to be, if you've only got so many rubs left to give, because God knows, I really think he was generous with them in TNA. This is one of the few rubs you have left to give. It's really going to be Darby. I think it's a waste. That said, though, I cede the floor to you, good sir, since you were just curious about what has been on my mind. That was it. Darby Allin frustrates me. His platforming frustrates me, and I really can't say, because all this stuff did seem to be from a few years ago, admittedly, so maybe he has worked his shit out, but then again, he does seem to have a pattern of being a habitual liar.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Wow.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, shit, we might as well stay on AEW, right?
Yeah, what else do you want to talk about? Because I watched all the clips. You know my policy now. I'm never going to leave you alone in the trenches when we talk AEW. So what would you like to talk about?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is the women's tag match. Riho and Sky Blue versus, I think it was Ruby Soho and I want to say Toni Storm.
Yes, and I know the Outcasts, I think they're calling themselves.
Yes.
And the Outcasts do win, and they kind of do the spray paint bit on Riho. Is it bad that I kind of wish Riho would just go back to Stardom? Not that she's used so horribly here, but I'm like, man, really? We're just kind of doing like NWO light shit and doing it at Riho's
It's
expense.
weird because they had a lot of matches on Dynamite this week that, like, if we didn't know who they were trying to build up and we didn't know who was going to win the matches going into it, might have been exciting. Like,
yeah,
Darby Allin versus Swerve was a fun match until Darby won.
Yeah.
And it would have been even more of a fun match if we didn't just know that Darby was going to win going into it. Like, I literally have, like I've mentioned before, that I have this other wrestling friend group on the NFL Draft Discord server, and I literally said in there that Darby was going to beat Swerve, and it was disgusting to me. And the responses that I like, the words that I got, are this was at 4:43 p.m. on Wednesday, so it was like almost over 3 hours before the show even started. I said, I'm so angry that Swerve has to job to Darby tonight with an angry face emoji. And one person said, nah, that's going to be a screwy finish. Won't be clean, so it won't matter. And then somebody else said, MJF is going to interfere probably. And then the first person came back and said, or Brian Cage. And they just completely brushed it off. And then, no. Darby won with his shitty little fucking flash pin thing that he does, as expected. And then, like, even the main event, Keith Lee looks amazing. I love Keith Lee. Keith Lee's great. Having Keith Lee on my television is never really a bad thing. But, like, he's losing to old man Jericho? Really?
Dude, please. Because, like...
And then he needs Adam Cole to come down and fucking pep talk him?
Yeah, because, like, again, I did see all this. And my first thought obviously went to Javaris, because we talk about Keith Lee every AEW segment, and it's like, how could they massacre my boy like this? And then I see that he's in the match with Jericho, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe this will be the start for Keith Lee, right? Maybe he'll beat Jericho, and we'll get something going here. No, Jericho just wins.
Well, yeah. Like, I think the wrong person won every single match on Dynamite this week that wasn't a squash match. Like, Swerve versus Darby, you are supposed to be pushing Swerve, but you're choosing to push Darby instead. Like, Powerhouse Hobbs versus Silas Young, okay, that was a squash. So again, not including squashes. Like, the squashes they got right, obviously. But then Orange Cassidy versus Buddy Matthews. Orange Cassidy has held this title for way too goddamn long. He's supposed to be a scrappy underdog babyface. Scrappy underdog babyfaces should not have long title reigns.
If I could just respond like rapid fire to like every match and like result that you've been kind of talking about here. Again, Jericho beating Keith. What the hell? As far as that All Atlantic Championship, dude, not only do I agree.
Oh, international, by the way. Remember, international.
Oh, international. Excuse me. International. Can I just say too that again that criticism that we've had, because I watched, now again I've kind of have a little hack watching AEW guys, because again always want to keep up conversation with Ashton so he's not talking to the wall, but I will admit I watched this shit on 2x speed because I'm not gonna waste all my fucking life away on AEW. Like, fuck that. And I'm seeing these guys go back and forth and doing their stuff, and then what wins it? A fucking like quick pin.
Oh yeah, the same thing that won Darby Allin's match against fucking Swerve.
Exactly. After they
it's
eat all
like,
this shit. Like, dude,
it's like Tony knows that he's pushing worse wrestlers, so he's having them win in ways that you can believe them winning. Because if you had them actually win by like beating their opponent, like hitting their finisher and pinning them 1, 2, 3, it's just not believable. Like, nobody believes that Darby Allin can actually beat Swerve Scott, or Swerve Strickland, rather. Nobody believes that Orange Cassidy can actually beat Buddy Matthews. So they have him do these shitty little fucking quick roll-up flash pins like Kashima on Shuri. And it's like Tony Khan thinks he's being clever, but you're just booking like shit.
Dude, what aggravated me about that match, too, because even though I watched these at 2x speed, I'm able to, like, follow everything fairly well.
Yeah.
I'll give the match credit that, like, it tried to have psychology.
Oh, dude, that was the match of the week, I think.
Oh, what, Murphy?
Well, it was one of the two between that and the Swerve Allen match.
Yeah, no, I'd agree, because it tried to have psychology in the sense of Murphy, or excuse me, Matthews working over the hand because of the whole orange punch, and I like that. I thought that was a clever story beat. But then what got me aggravated, because I can't stand this shit, dude. I've been very out about not being able to stand this shit. He kicks out of a fucking curb stomp. Like, after the beatings he's already taken with, like, all these other moves, he still kicks out of a curb stomp, then he gets, like, the roll-up pin. And I'm like, seriously? I just,
Yeah, they call it a
it's
mouse
so
trap.
goddamn frustrating.
Cassidy's like weird like flash pin thing is called a mouse trap.
Oh yeah, the catches him with the mousetrap, and I'm like, really? Come on, man. Come on. Um, again, Jericho just why, and Swerve doing it too, because it's like, do something else. You two are way too talented to constantly be fighting each other
Yeah.
or tagging with each other. Like honestly, dude, it's so funny that we always talk about Sammy and Kevin, because like that's kind of where this already is for me. It's like just be apart for a little bit. Christ.
Wait,
Um,
who's this that you want to be a part now?
Swerve and Keith. I thought their kind of stuff was done, so then Swerve kind of costing Keith that match. I'm like,
Oh,
really? We're still
right.
doing this?
Yeah.
It's like,
God.
God,
And why
man.
do they have to even be associated with each other?
Yeah, really. Like,
Like, that just feels racist. That just feels like Tony Khan's like, oh, well, I signed these two big, big name free agents from WWE, and they're both black guys, and then that means they know each other and they have to be best friends now.
it's such a shame too with Swerve, because like, here's the thing. Let me be crystal clear. Keith Lee's got the talent. We all know that. I have said though, to be just completely true to myself, I've been kind of enamored in my own way with Swerve for a long time, because I consistently say like nobody moves how he does. He's so unique
Yeah.
and this and that. Like, this is a dude. He had his finger on the pulse enough in NXT to be like, give me a rap group, but it's going to be actual rappers, actual musicians. He himself is an actual musician. Actually, his theme is probably one of the best that AEW has. Actually, I've been kind of vibing out to that theme lately. I swerve when I drive. It's like it's good shit. Um, but like he's just in the wrong. He's in the wrong freaking era. And the thing is, you can't go back. The era where he'd fit in is an era I don't even think has happened yet. Because like I swear, this dude has top world champion potential, heel or face. And I love him as a face, but I know you love him as a heel, and I think he does work well as both. So it doesn't matter the alignment. The dude's just good. But I feel like he's a guy that, like the Mr. Perfects, like the Dolph Zigglers, whatever, people will come around to see how good he was, and then you're gonna get those people that are like, yeah, they should have pushed him harder. And I'm just like, yeah, but it's not gonna happen. And I don't think it's gonna happen for Keith either, not in this fucking company. Losing to fucking Jericho. Get the fuck out of here. Oh my god.
Yeah, there were two squash matches on the show. The one we already talked about with Hobbs destroying Silas Young, the other one being Blackpool Combat Club just obliterating Michael Nakazawa and Brandon Cutler to the point that they didn't even have to pin them. The ref called for the bell, like it was a ref stoppage finish. And then like we had Sky Blue and Riho versus Ruby Soho and Tony Storm, and like I know why Tony Storm and Ruby won this match, but like the reason is because Sky Blue was one of the other, one of the people on the opposing team. But like, in my mind, if you're going to have Sky Blue on this team at all, you need to make her feel as credible as everyone else involved in this storyline. If you're just going to have her on this team as the pin eater, she shouldn't be on the fucking team. Because this is supposed to feel like a blood and guts level type feud. So this is supposed to feel like a very even, very equal feud. So like, if you're only, like, including Sky Blue on this team as a pin taker, she shouldn't be on the fucking team. You should find somebody better to put on this team, or somebody that actually has more credibility to put on this team.
Yeah, 100%, bro. 100%. Oh, God. Like, Jamie shouldn't be expected to do all the work for this division.
Like, it's literally going to end up being Jamie, Britt, Riho, Sky Blue, and I believe Willow Nightingale.
Okay.
Versus the team of Ruby, Tony, Saraya, and then I'm not 100% sure who the other two people on that team are going to be. It might be Athena and Serena? I don't know. But whoever it ends up being, that team just feels way more powerful.
Yeah, 100%.
Even if it does end up being Athena and Serena, you're talking about Athena, Ring of Honor Women's Champion, someone that the company is very clearly at least invested in making look relatively strong. And Serena, arguably, to this day, the most fleshed out character in the women's division in the company.
Yeah.
Like, and you expect me to believe that the likes of Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue aren't going to just get their asses handed to them every time they interact with that team of 5.
Exactly, because they haven't been built up, and I think Willow's adorable, and I think she's very actually talented, like Anne Ring.
Yeah.
Sky Blue, I don't really have enough of an opinion to be honest, so I'll stay mum on that point. But like,
Well, I mean, Sky Blue is the clear number 5 ranking on that team. Like
yeah,
she's the clear weak link on the team. She is not quite a rookie, but she is relatively a rookie on that team. Like she's a rookie relative to this program. She's very, very new to wrestling. She's new to especially television as far as wrestling goes. Like she is not um grizzled, I guess is the word for it. I don't know. She doesn't have that like wear and tear. She doesn't have a lot of experience.
right. Yeah, it just again, a women's division is more than just a few like quality workers. There needs to be a coherent system in place to utilize them to the best of their ability. Jamie Hayter can't be expected to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and she is very compelling and magnetic and credible as the champion. But the writing has got to step its game up, man.
Here's a good way
I
for me
don't
to
know.
put it. The first year that Sky Blue wrestled more than 20 matches in a single year was 2020.
Oh, okay. Wow.
The first time she wrestled more than 50 matches in a single year was 2021. So
Okay.
she's been working more and more recently, but like, even though she technically debuted in 2017, she didn't really hit the ground running until late 2019, early 2020.
Right.
So like, and when you take into account that this is like in your standard US environment, and it's not like a Joshi promotion where we know the training happens fast and they get good quickly. 4 years is not long.
No, no, not at all.
And like she's got a grand total of 243 matches under her belt. And just to compare, actually, I want to do this. Willow Nightingale, who is the second sort of from the bottom on that team, 379 matches under her belt.
Yeah.
Do you want to know how many Riho has?
How many?
How about 1,000?
Fuck. Oh my god, that's wild.
Again, for comparison, Ruby Soho 754, Tony Storm 515.
Damn. Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. So it's a very one-sided feud in my opinion, and well, hell, even Jamie isn't the most experienced. Jamie has a similar amount of experience to Sky Blue, but she's worked Stardom. So like that's like acceleration program. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you work Stardom and your shit is going to get better at an accelerated rate.
Yes.
Let's
Uh,
let's send Sky Blue over to Stardom before we finish this feud up.
yeah, I would say so, man. Stardom.
She can join Club Venus.
Yeah,
She can be a fall
I,
girl.
I could
It
see
makes
it.
more
Yeah.
sense for her to be a fall girl for Fall Venus than for her to be a fall girl in this feud. Shit. If that's
Yeah,
all she's gonna, she's
definitely.
just gonna eat eating pins this whole feud. Why not do it somewhere where she can fucking learn?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Didn't Wardlow do something this week? I could have sworn I
Wardlow?
saw some. I thought Wardlow did something this week as far as the TNT title goes, but maybe I'm misremembering.
Oh yeah, he flipped a car with a fucking what's it called?
That's what it, dude. Oh, God, do I really want to be that petty? I do. I do want to be that petty. It looked so bad to me, dude. But like the flip wasn't even impactful. Like you know what I thought about watching this? I'm like, wow, Stone Cold and Triple H did it so much better when it looked like Stone Cold was trying to murder Triple H for running him over. And here, I know, I'm a child, and it's like whatever. But seriously, this one time, it really seems appropriate that when he flipped that car, I genuinely got vibes. That there's a flip. Take that, Hobbs. And it's like, okay, what the fuck did you do to Wardlow? This dude used to be cool. And like, I'm not saying he came off as a nerd in this. I don't blame him. I blame the fucking forklift they had him use. But like, goddamn, he's just middling in this TNT title picture. Dude, you won the title. I get it. Joe screwed you out of a reign, and then somebody else, QT Marshall, I guess, screwed you out of this reign. But like, at a certain point, you want to cut your losses and be like, wow, MJF's the champion. That guy that I really dominated after he took the fucking spotlight from me. Maybe I should dominate him again and take his spotlight from him and take away his bargaining chip for 2024. Because you can do it, because we saw you do it. But no, you're middling in this TNT title picture, and I don't even know if the fans still care about him as much as they used to. Oh, God, it hurts, man. It hurts. And then Hobbs was trying to send a message against Check's notes, Silas Young. Now, I liked Silas once upon a time, but it's been a little bit. We grow and change. Don't really know why Silas is still kind of mixing it up with people. I don't know why taking it out on him would gain sympathy from the crowd when Silas as a character is kind of a piece of shit. So, yeah, what the fuck are you doing, AEW? This is like Noah for Americans. Everybody is either old or young and getting pushed against a decent amount, but not really. Like, what the fuck is going on over there? Christ. Do you have anything you want to say about Wardlow, or is there anything else on AEW that you'd like to talk about instead?
Bro, we didn't even have to talk about Wardlow in the first place. I was just making sure that we knew what he did because you brought it up.
That's fair. I just felt the need because I did watch that segment and like, God, it came off so bad to me. But yeah. Fuck you.
Jay White and Juice Robinson are officially now known as Bullet Club Gold.
Okay, this is actually something I must have missed. I tried to watch as many YouTube clips as possible. I guess in the future,
dude, that's all it was. It was just a quick video of them saying we're Bullet Club Gold and we're taking over AEW.
All right, fine. I guess I preferred Babyface Juice with Jay White as his foil, but them being friends is good too, I guess. What else on this fucking show that never ends? Oh yeah, Wardlow also did destroy Hobbs' car. That came off a bit better. I actually did like that they did that.
Luchasaurus?
What did he do? Because again, that's another thing that I apparently missed.
Pretty much just showed up with a cool new look, and Christian said some things have changed.
Oh, love me some Daddy Christian. Love me some Luchasaurus. That's another guy that if you wanted to put literally any title on him, I'd believe it.
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking monster. But, let's try this again, I guess.
But, John, work rate, though.
I want him. You know what? No. I was about to say something ridiculous, and there needs to be a limit. Just, what was next?
Do you really want me to say what was next?
Yes, please.
Ethan Page cut a promo.
Oh my! Oh, right. I think I do remember. Right? 'Cause didn't Matt Hardy talk about how he duped him in the contract?
Yep.
And I'm like, I hate all of you. I hate all of you. You made me not even like Private Party. Although to be fair, Private Party made me not kind of like Private Party, given all their anti-vax shit and everything. But everybody sucks in this. What the fuck? Okay. So now aren't they doing a tag? And this was Jeff Hardy's return. Oh, and that's the other big thing. Darby Allin was the rant. I wouldn't say that this is going to be a rant, although I don't know, because now I'm kind of pissed off that we're talking about AEW and it's still, to me, sucks. Just one man's opinion. I know you kind of share in that opinion, so maybe I could say two people's opinions. We're really doing Jeff Hardy again. This dude is going to die.
In the same way that we're going to do CM Punk again, yes, because draw.
And Punk's an asshole, right? And that's here for Jeff. I'm not even kidding when I say that employers like this are going to be the reason he dies prematurely and doesn't get to live a long, just normal life because business keeps enabling this dude. I read recently he's not going to be able to drive for 10 years. He's lost his license for 10 years.
Wow.
Are you going to Uber him to every fucking show? Literally. Okay, I need to calm down, okay? Because this is another serious conversation. I can't be on my bullshit. You guys know, again, going to open myself up here a little bit. My family's had problems with addiction, right? My mother, bless her, she's fucking clean. My dad is not. I know how bad this shit is, okay? If there is anything I can speak on with any fucking authority whatsoever, it's this. Stop enabling this dude. I am telling you, this isn't even me being anti Jeff Hardy. Look, when Jeff Hardy was at his peak level of over, I loved him just like everybody else did. I wanted him to be the world champion. I wanted him to get his stories, since we're all talking about finishing stories and all that bullshit. But this is getting sad now. I mean, he's a human being with a family. Can we think about that for 2 seconds? Now, he did one swanton, and admittedly, like on the outside, he seemed to look pretty good. I don't think he looked to be in bad shape or whatever. But I don't know the pain that dude's going through on the inside. I don't know how he's feeling mentally. Like I've been, and look, I'm just gonna bring it up because it's kind of a similar issue, right? I've been proud of Jimmy Uso for keeping his shit under control this whole bloodline story, because we know that he's had a few times DUIs, and I've been very angry at Jimmy for that because I don't think it's a fucking joke. Like, you endanger people when you do that shit. I think the court, for as much as I hate the carceral state and all the like auxiliary institutions that make it possible, I will say I think the court did the right thing, not giving Jeff a license for 10 years. That's the kind of penalty you need when you repeatedly do this shit. Because it's not just protecting you from other people, it's protecting you from yourself to a degree. And I see it's a complicated issue because I do believe Jeff has a right to pursue gainful employment. But I would hope that everybody, from family to Tony Khan, everybody talked about a fucking plan. I don't want to hear about this dude getting arrested again. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see another relapse or whatever. And I don't even know, even just on the general wrestling level, should we really keep platforming these old dudes or these dudes that were really over in a past era? And now I don't want to be cruel and say novelty act, but yeah, low key novelty act. Do we really need to do this shit again? I was so annoyed seeing this, dude. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, it's bad enough that Ethan Page has got nothing going on. Why are we not pushing Lee Moriarty at all? I don't get that at all. But AEW could figure that out. But then you have Jeff's music hit, and it's a pop, and he hugs Matt, and it's like, look, you guys are people. I want to be kind to people. That's why I didn't go nearly as hard on Darby Allin as I could have. I just spoke the truth as I saw it. And speaking the truth as I see it here, I want Jeff to be okay. I want him to be able to live his life, absolutely. But I'd like him to be able to live it in the healthiest way possible. And I don't know if this is it. I don't know if he should be around wrestling. I feel like wrestling is a trigger to him. And so this is just really disappointing to fucking see this. And it needed more Stokely. Just on a pettier level, this segment needed 100% more Stokely. How you could not have Stokely be a part of this in any way? Do you even understand the assets you have, AEW? God damn it.
I think
So
it's
how do you
very,
feel?
very clear that they don't, and I think that it's also very, very clear that at least a reason behind why they don't, if not the reason behind why they don't, is that they just have too many people.
Yeah.
You know,
It's so, yeah.
it's funny because I was just talking about my favorite movies last night and how it was like either Big Lebowski, The Nice Guys, or Moneyball, and it brings me back to Moneyball. I don't know how well you remember that movie, but there's a point in that movie when the GM and the coach are bashing heads because the GM signed a guy because he needed that guy to play first base and be at a certain spot in the batting lineup because your first baseman goes at a certain spot in the batting lineup. But the coach kept playing this other dude at first base, and because he was at first base, he also ended up getting that slot in the batting lineup. And the GM was like, motherfucker, I keep trying to tell you that's not where he plays. This guy plays there. Play this guy there. I need you to play this guy there. And the coach just kept on being like, yeah, well, fuck you. I'm on the last year of my contract, and I need to play this team the way that I can explain to GMs next year so that I can get another job. And eventually the GM said, okay, fuck you. I'm going to trade the guy that you keep playing in the spot that my guy needs to go to, and then you're forced to do it. And that's what needs to happen with Tony Khan. His hand needs to be forced. All these motherfuckers that he loves so much, like the Dark Order and the Ass Boys and fucking the Trust Busters, which we haven't seen them in a while, thank Christ, but still, you get the idea. All these generic motherfuckers that he loves to push, Ethan Page, need to just get let go so that he is forced to use the actual good talents that are on his roster. Because otherwise, he has no fucking clue how to use who he has that's actually good.
I think this beautiful man said it perfectly, don't you all? I really have nothing to add. Can we get out of fucking AEW Island, or is there anything else we need to talk about?
I mean, I didn't know if you'd even want to talk about Rampage or not.
Here's the thing. I don't watch clips from Rampage. I should start though, because I know we've ended up here before, and I apologize for that. I guess I kind of came ill prepared. Was there anything worthwhile? Actually, that's a lie, kind of. I did see one thing. I did see Taya and Jade, and I thought that was pretty cool. That's
That
my
was the fallout from the match that Taya had with Emi Sakura.
yes, which I know she won with
Yeah.
the double chicken wing, face buster, pretty much the glam
Jaded.
slam.
Yeah, basically
Yeah,
the same
Jade and
move that
Jaded.
Jade wins
Yeah.
with. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Jade got all hot about it. I love that she, took her shoe off and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Jungle Boy versus Sean Spears, which was like the big return of Sean Spears, and like I was actually kind of excited to see Sean Spears back because he has completely foregone the chairman bullshit, and he's back on his perfect 10 bullshit, and I love it. But then
Nice.
once he got in the ring and I saw who his opponent was, I was like, well, fuck. This isn't exciting or fun at all. Jungle Boy's just going to win because he's getting built up to challenge MJF, which, again,
Yeah.
undeserved. But
Yeah.
like, it's garbage. The only other two matches that happened were Mark Briscoe, Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, and Jeff Jarrett versus a team called the Spanish Announce Project.
What?
I know that this is a team that features Man Scout Jake Manning, which is someone that we've seen before.
Yes, NEW, yes.
Yeah. But I'm not entirely sure who else. Oh, Angelico is apparently on this team.
Wow, that's diversity if I've ever heard it to go from Man Scout
Oh,
Jake Manning
and
to fucking Angelico.
Serpentico is also on this team.
Okay.
So it's Man Scout Jake Manning, Angelico, Serpentico, and I don't know who the fourth one is.
Okay.
But then, yeah, the big match that opened the show, because that's how Rampage does. They open the show with a bigger match than they close the show with. It was the IWGP Tag Title match, Aussie Open versus Best Friends. Of course, Aussie Open retained.
Good for Aussie Open. They are a great team. No hate.
I gotta say, I like Aussie Open, but I'm also on my it might be a bit of an overstatement bullshit right now on them, because I think they're getting a little overrated by certain people.
Fair enough. I mean, granted, I haven't watched them in a minute, so maybe I'm looking at a version of them that maybe, some things have changed. It's entirely possible.
Right.
But yeah.
All right.
It is what
That's
it is.
AEW over. Is there anything WWE related you wanted to talk about?
Anything WWE related at one time? Really, all my focus is on the draft, brother. I guess the only thing that comes to my mind immediately to talk about, without me having to pause or anything, would be Damage Control. This idea that, EO specifically, which I think we've been kind of waiting for because we know EO.
Yeah, see, and that right there, that situation and that match specifically, that triple threat, is one of the things that I was talking about in our intro when I said this wasn't just a bad week. There were some definite highlights. That's one of the highlights right there. EO standing up for herself, telling Bayley, no, I want this, and then fucking cashing it in and winning the goddamn match. Like, even if she doesn't beat Bianca, and I don't expect her to, I'm riding a high from that shit.
You should, man, because look, let's just look at it for what it is. Again, even putting our collective fandom, and you especially, far more than me, aside, it's just good writing. It's good writing to have somebody stand up to that. Well, I shouldn't even say stand up because that implies more confrontation than it actually was. But just speaking up, with their faction leader in the room, saying, hey, I got this, and then not looking like an idiot.
Yeah.
Because they did have it.
Yep.
Like, that's how you book Io Shirai, because she's competent. And in fact, competent is understating and underselling her. She's really freaking good. And so it's believable that she'd win that triple threat. Absolutely believable. And then I love speculation. One of my favorite Twitter follows is Chrissy on Twitter. Absolute freaking sweetheart. I adore her. She loves Bayley, adores Bayley. And she's even like bucked up against the idea that, oh, Bayley's going to turn on the two of them. Because one, is it really wise for one person to turn on two people? Not usually, no. And two, people have pointed out that the face Bayley made after EO won was a similar face she would make like when Sasha would win or do something, but was still a baby face. It's more like she's feeling competitive. I personally to kind of dovetail this into the Io talk, because I'm so happy for her that she gets that match with Bianca. I think it's a fresh matchup for Bianca. It's one that I expect Bianca to win, but still, the idea that Io gets a match like that, hopefully she gets it before the draft, because I personally do kind of see Damage Control getting split up, and I would like to see Io either stay on Raw or just go to SmackDown, but just be away from Dakota and Bayley.
Bro, I've
Because
heard that they're splitting up, but something that Mark posted this morning legitimately got me fucking disturbed.
which was
Apparently, there's a rumor right now that each of them is going to go to a different brand, which would also imply that one of them is going to get drafted to NXT.
I would have to imagine that would be Dakota.
Which is still fucking gross.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, why? Especially because, here's the thing. If it was still black and gold NXT that was loaded out the ass with, like, indie talent, I could look the other way. NXT has never felt more developmental than it does, like, right now. With, like,
Exactly.
So it's like, for example, to me, the worst case scenario would be Bayley, because all due respect to Io and Dakota, Bayley, I feel like, has done so much, like, in her main roster career, whereas Io and Dakota, they're just getting started. So, like, if you were to take a step back, it'd be more confusing.
The only reason I disagree with you is because I think Bayley's character has changed so much since her last NXT run that it would almost feel similar to, like, Balor's second run down there. Which was great.
Point.
And Io, to me, is the worst case scenario because what the fuck are you doing?
True, she already had the really dominant women's championship run there.
And she hasn't had any kind of character shifts, and she's just getting started on the main roster.
And you know, too, with the way Bayley is, she would almost probably lick her chops for NXT because she would love to give somebody a rub. Or multiple people
plus we know
a
she'd
rub.
get to work with her quote-unquote wrestling babies in Indy and Roxanne.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. We'll have to see, but I definitely think
I just hope the rumor's wrong. I hope that they get split up by one of them being on a different brand from the other two, but not one of them going to fucking NXT. Jesus Christ.
Because here's the thing, too. If only one of them gets split up, and, like, say hypothetically it's what I want, and that would be, like, Io going to a SmackDown or something, and Bayley and Dakota stay on Raw, then I could see Bayley doubling down and being a heel, and that would just be turning Dakota face. Because I'm sorry, anybody that knows Dakota on social media, which you kind of have to today, because total sweetheart. It's so integrated today that doing Dakota as a heel, I'm sorry. Like, I can buy it for the few minutes that she has a segment each week, but, like, I really want to start buying it again with people like, oh yeah, they're just a dastardly villain. I want more wrestlers that know how to use social media like as a character. We have a few of them out there, but it's not a really common thing. But no, Dakota's a sweetheart. Like, her as a babyface is so believable, and then Bayley, like, doubling down and just being that petty heel. Even though I'm ready for Bayley to go babyface again, and I have been, I would say, for at least the last 2 years, I can ride with it for as long as she's going to ride with it. I'm not going to act like it's anything different. So yeah, great for Io. Great for Io. What was it? What was another big story here coming out of that? I mean, obviously, again, my focus is purely on the draft. You said WWE in general, so you didn't say Raw or SmackDown. So I will say the other big thing, and I kind of mentioned this at the start of the show, in the intro, as a matter of fact. Just the Usos and Sami and Kevin, and Matt Riddle being a part of this fucking story again. Which, like, God, I hate it. Thanks. But Solo beat him. Solo beat Matt Riddle, so Matt Riddle ain't going to get his revenge just yet. And I love the promo that Paul Heyman cut on Sami and Kevin, which was preceded by kind of the Usos cutting a promo on Sami and Kevin. And they're trying to imply that Sami's going to be the one to turn on Kevin, not the other way around. Thought that was interesting, that they were trying to kind of, like, put that out there. I thought it was good mic work between the Usos and Sami and Kevin. Did you catch this promo, and what did you think about it?
Yeah, something's going on. Something happened. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Jimmy Uso seems off on the mic to me.
He seems more like Jay's hype man in a way.
Yeah, like, it's like he's lost some of that intensity that I remember from a few years ago when they first turned heel and they were on fire.
Yeah, I mean, hell, if it means he's healthier, I'll take the trade. But, like, I definitely...
True, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Because, like, maybe he's just mellowed out, and that's a good thing for all of us.
Yeah.
But I do get what you mean, though, because, like, I don't even want to be... the last thing I want to do is, like, pick on Jimmy Uso or anything like that, because, again, I have really stressed. I want this dude to be fucking healthy. That's what I care about. But you weren't kidding, man. Really thinking about WrestleMania, it's like Jay, with the way he's keeping himself in shape and on the mic, it's like Jay is at the ready for a main event push if they would go that way.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you could call Jey Uso at 5 o'clock in the morning, be like, "Hey, catch a flight. We're gonna do some pre-tape. We're gonna do some discussion. Your main event push starts." He'd catch the first fucking flight out.
Yeah.
Jimmy, I'm not saying he wouldn't take the call. I definitely think he's a professional, but like, I just don't think they'd ring his phone. Jimmy seems very comfortable in that tag team spot. Jay, I think, got a taste of that singles push, and he's like, "Oh, I like this. Let me stay ready for this."
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's kind of a shame because the Usos were a less obnoxious Young Bucks, where it's almost like you could have kept them together forever, but they were just so good that you didn't mind it. Whereas with the Young Bucks, I feel like they almost politic to stay together, and it's like, you know, we make our money together kind of thing. But yeah, it seems like they're gonna do something with Jay. I would think, because the story is still about Jay. Because Sammy retorts right back. They're like, "Oh, Sammy, shut up! You've been saying all this, and you've just been wrong at every turn." And Sammy's like, "But have I been though?" You know, like, "Jay, I know you still got doubts," and Jay's like, "God damn it, I can't tell him no, but I have to because of our tribal chief." So yes,
how's that song go? My mind is telling me no, but my body's telling me yes.
See, now I need Jay to break out in song like that and just get the camera reactions of everybody, including Solo and Paul Heyman. Like, Jay,
Heyman would keep it together, and he would have that like shocked look on his face, like what he would have if like Roman punched Jey Uso. But like, I think Jimmy would pop. Solo would crack up. They would both corpse their asses off.
This story has gone on so long, they need to do like this as a musical with actual stage direction. Like, oh, Jay sings when everybody else is off camera, and then the camera pans to Paul Heyman, who was listening through a crack in the door. It's just like, what the fuck? Come and see this. You know, but no, in all seriousness, I get what you're saying, and that's not a diss on. I just think Jimmy's at a place in his life, and Jay's at a place in his life, which is totally valid. Where like, they're just it's weird because they feel like they're at two different stages of their career, but they're a tag team act. It's like Jay is ready for the come up, and Jimmy's like, "Nah, man, I'm in my, you know, I'm in a."
Hey, you know what though? If they want to start doing main event Jey Uso, I think that Jimmy and Solo could be a very interesting enforcer team.
Yeah, that's true. I actually liked what Foster said here as well. And believe me, Javaris, I was getting to that. I was building up to that because, yeah, I shared that video in the Discord with y'all, and you know I've been thinking about that too. But Foster said, I think the story is supposed to be that Jimmy is relaxing too much while Jay is stressing more and more. Yeah. Jimmy won't know until it's too late. And I like that Foster said that because, look, it was so funny when Jimmy first came back all that time ago with that fucking dude. "Oh, unlike you, I'm not Roman's bitch." Son, you got choked out. Who do you think was accountable for you? It was me. It was main event Jey Uso. And it's kind of the same thing here. Like, "Man, bro, isn't this great? We're riding with the tribal chief. We get fresh sushi on the jet. Man, I could live like this forever." Oh, Jimmy, we know. But this comes with a price, my brother. And like, Roman's gonna beat the shit out of us if we don't get him at the tag. Oh man, we got this, you know, lockdown, all that stuff. No, Jimmy, I'm serious. We really need to get our shit together. Like, Jay is freaking out internally.
Yeah.
And yeah, to Javaris's point, and this is something I shared in the Discord. Paul Heyman's talking about that rematch coming up. And there's like, and the Usos will regain the tag team titles because the tribal chief Roman Reigns, and then he turns to look at the Usos and they're oblivious. I love Jimmy too because he's smiling through the whole thing, is losing patience with both of you. And I just, how do Sammy and Kevin not be like, "Look at him," like just pointing to him and like, "Look at him, just look at him." No, they're just kind of smirking like, "Hey, did you see that?" "Yeah, I saw that." "Did they see it?" No, they're totally clueless. And they're just laughing about it to themselves like, "Oh man, Roman's going to beat the shit out of him. It's going to be great." It's like, take 2 seconds to be like, literally turn your head.
Okay, John,
turn your head.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My Chrome is about to crash. We're going to drop this call. I'm going to get you back as soon as I possibly can. We should be able to stay on the whole time, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Never mind. It's not just Chrome. It's my whole computer. I need to restart my computer, so we are going to be going off the air here.
Okay, we'll be back, guys.
Fuck me. Wait! Is it coming back?
I don't know. I mean, you sound great to me. I can only tell you what I'm hearing.
Oh, God. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. Something is definitely going wrong with my computer right now because my task manager is not responding. So that's lovely, isn't it? Isn't that just the best, everyone? Okay. Yeah, no, nothing is going to work. I need to... Oh, shit. Yeah, no, uh, Windows Explorer, uh, does not seem to want to work, it looks like. My task manager is not responding. I'm going to attempt to restart my computer, but I get the feeling it's not going to work. Just a gut feeling here that this is not going to work. Yeah, everything is just unresponsive now, pretty much. Okay. Task manager is still not responding. Steam is not responding. I don't know if anyone can hear me right now. Oh, this is fucking miserable. I just wish my computer would work. It's not working. Okay. I really wish Task Manager would stop being a bitch. I actually managed to close out of Steam. I don't know why I can't close out of Task Manager.